Under Paris. Yeah, I guess there could be a lot of stuff under there. But long and behold, it looks like there's a shark. I don't know how it kind of got under Paris, but let's see if we can find out here. Starting with the IMDb plot here. To save Paris from a bloodbath, a grieving scientist is forced to face her tragic past when a giant shark appears in the Seine. All right. Yeah. Okay. So, shark movie, obviously. So here we go again. We know if you've seen the last several reviews I've done for shark movies, my patience with them and highly critical of the bad CGI, desperately needing some better CGI sharks in this world, or maybe a good practical shark once again, but it's just CGI after CGI. So, what do we get in this one? We will see. But to start off, this is on Netflix, new film on Netflix, so that is where you can find this. And since it is new, we'll try to be as spoiler free as possible here. Um, Twists and turns, I don't know the twists and turns, but I guess there's some information that I'll leave out so that you guys can enjoy and find that out as we kind of move along through this film. Um, yeah, so again, shark movie. And so, yeah, it starts off here with a decent scene um, with a dive team who is immediately going to make a statement about the environment and how bad it is and trying to save the environment and so forth. And that's a little bit of a theme throughout this film. And yeah, a really heavily plastic filled. I forgot where they said they were. Maybe the ocean. I don't know if it was part of the river. No, it wasn't in the river because that's where the shark ends up later. So it was in the ocean somewhere, I think. And lots of plastic, and they're kind of going in a dive here. And the divers kind of swim through it, and then they see a whale that's kind of caught up in some of it. And one of the divers goes and tries to kind of investigate, see if it's still alive, and free it or whatever's going on there. And long and behold, some sharks show up, and seems like a bad idea to be around a animal in the water that's kind of caught up like that. If you know anything about sharks, they're most likely going to try to feed on this thing. But everybody seems, rather kind of calm. And, they're kind of waiting on one particular shark to come by. And it eventually does. And everything seemed to be going okay until it's not. And unfortunately, the dive team kind of gets taken out by the shark because apparently it's in a bad mood and they pissed it off. And so the one survivor here, Sophia, she is, I think, it's sometime later now, and she's kind of moved on, doesn't do much diving, but does kind of work at I think it's like kind of like a seaquarium kind of thing, SeaWorld kind of thing. Over there now, and it's kind of going about her business until someone approaches her and tells her, "Hey, this shark that you tracked long ago is in the river." And she's like, "Yeah, well, that really can't be," but kind of gets sucked into it. So here we are. The shark is in the river, and like I said, it's kind of from an environmental standpoint. So they're like, we must save the shark. Yeah, okay, there is some concern for the people that are probably going to be swimming in this river, and but it's more of from a concern of the shark. So let's get the shark out of the river. How do we do that? And we find out that there is a kind of a police force that's specifically there on the river to make sure, everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing on this river, whether they're swimming, whether they're boating, or whatever they're doing on there, everybody's doing it safely, and stuff like that. So they kind of get involved with this, and there's not a shark. Why is there a shark in this river? Blah blah. And then of course everybody finds out there's a shark, and that's kind of the basics of it. Obviously it's gonna go and pick up as we go. What I guess the main point of where it's moving is there's this big swimming event that the mayor of this town in Paris has worked really hard to put on, and kind of what we've seen in like Jaws, where you have the mayor and he's like, I'm not closing the beach. I don't care what, it's a big holiday. I don't care what's in there. You deal with the shark. People are going in the water. So it's that same kind of thing here where, we've planned this big event. I don't care there's a shark. Get the shark out of here. We're throwing this event regardless. Thousands of swimmers are going to go in this water, and that's the end of that. So that's basically, the direction of where we're headed in the big final moments of the film. We'll find out a little bit more about the shark and what's going on there and stuff. There's some things about the shark that you'll find out. Like I said, I'll kind of leave that out. One of the things that, a couple of things here, when I first saw the shark, I know they described it as a mako, and when they were early scenes, they were looking at mako sharks. I'm not a foremost expert on sharks or anything. I didn't think it was a mako shark. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I missed that, or maybe I misunderstood what they were saying. To me, it just looked like another great white shark. But so, that kind of annoyed me a little bit because I'm like, well, it's not a mako, it's a great white, but whatever, or just a supersized mako, maybe. What I've seen and whatever, it looked a little different, but, okay, well, I'm nitpicking there, but whatever. Like I said, the opening scene was pretty decent and exciting. And it picks up. There's a really, what I thought was a pretty decent scene where they kind of go into a catacomb here. It is weird. It's a weird situation, but I guess, the shark goes into this kind of tunnel, and it's like in this isolated place. And all these people go because, one of the, not Sophia, but one of the other girls who plays a main role in this movie, who really wants to save the shark, convinces all these people to go and, let's go save the shark before the police and before these people kill it or do whatever. So all these people go into this really tight area where you kind of have to go through a little bit of water, and then it kind of opens up, but you got to kind of stay on this really thin edge. And so there's, I don't know, 50, 100 people in this place. And then the police come in, and they're like, okay, everybody's got to get out of here. The shark is here. This is dangerous. You can't be trespassing in this area. And the one girl is here in the center of the water, and she's trying to get the shark to come out and kind of make it seem like everything's okay. And, I won't give everything away in this scene, but let's just say chaos ensues, and you have a bunch of people falling in the water, and the shark started eating people, and then people trying to get out of this really tight space, and so it becomes a pretty chaotic. But I enjoyed the scene. I thought it was one of the better scenes of the movie here, and then we roll on, of course, to the main action. And I would say, in the beginning scene, it was pretty tight. Even in this catacomb scene was pretty tight. As far as the CGI, like, it didn't bother me. It was okay. I thought it looked realistic enough. In the opening scene, they do show the shark a little bit, and the catacomb scene was kind of fast going, so you didn't get, you did get some shots of the shark, but it was so fast that, I guess there wasn't that much to kind of say, oh my God, look how fake that was. Maybe when it attacked a few people, there was once or twice where, especially with the blood and whatever. but I'm gonna say not too many major complaints, and I was fairly pleased through a lot of that. Um, I would say the final scene, the main action at the end, um, that's where it kind of fell off the cliff with the CGI. I guess they had to show a little bit more of the shark, and the shark was doing more movements, and it was there, and I don't know, but that's where it kind of fell off. Maybe earlier on it was maybe because it was a little bit darker. Obviously, in the catacombs it was really dark. Um, I don't know, but to me, that's when it fell off. That's when there were several moments where there I'm like, oh, CGI shark has really made their appearance here, and um, but I would say, as the whole film, I'm not as pissed and annoyed as maybe some of the previous films that I've watched as far as the CGI ness of the shark. So overall, for that, it was all right. A little bit better than some of the recent stuff that I've seen as far as sharks, and you can kind of scroll backwards if you want to look at some of the films that are reviewed for sharks. Um, so it was overall not enough to really get under my skin. But yeah, it's the biggest moment of the film, and you would have liked to see it, kind of maintain a decent shark there, and it kind of disappointing that it kind of fell off at that moment in the biggest spot of the movie. What I also didn't like I said, they're having this big swim event. There's a lot of people in this water, a lot of people swimming. This is, I know it's not Meg, it's not a huge, gigantic, oversized shark, but they make this shark seem like it's pretty big. Again, if Makos can be big. Obviously not great white big, for the most part, but they make it seem like it's that big, or so forth. So you think that when you have this many people swimming and the shark is here, it would almost take out more than one person at a time. Especially, you see the way that these swimmers are they're pretty close to each other, and you wouldn't think it's a case where the shark is just eating one by one, or you wouldn't think it's a case where it takes so long for these swimmers to realize, hey, the guy to my left is no longer there, the guy behind me or in front of me is no longer there. What is happening? You would think it would be hard for them to miss a shark in the water for that long. I don't know. I thought, the way the shark was coming at this group of people that were swimming was, I don't know, just a little off, a little weird. Maybe the shark should have came head on or from the back, but it just kind of seemed to kind of pick random people off here and there. And it's kind of like, if the shark is this big and whatever, like, how is it just kind of like, it's kind of like it's just coming up and grabbing someone and pulling them down. It's like, that's not really how that works. And obviously they were hiding the shark because you don't want, they didn't want the shark, I guess, to come completely out of water, and then you would see it. Although it does, I will say that it does do that in the movie, but I guess they didn't want to overdo it. I don't know. I just thought the way the shark attacked, where there's just this group of people going across, should have been different, and I don't know, whatever. I'm going to nitpick at it there, too. Still an interesting scene, big scene there, lots of chaos, people die. Of course, I wish it was a little bloodier. It mentions in the top there's bloodbath. Yeah, it's a little bit of a bloodbath. I wish it was a little bit more. Again, another complaint of shark movies is that we don't get a lot of shark killing people, not enough deaths in some of these movies. And if you look at the total of people that died in this movie, there are you get the divers at the beginning, you get a bunch in the catacombs that die, and then obviously in this big scene at the end. So the kill count for the shark here is pretty high. But do you get enough of the blood and guts that you want? I don't know. Like I said, there's going to be a time or two when the shark does come up and grab somebody, so you do have that. And then there are some bite downs, and you do see some people with missing, arms, legs, and so forth. So it is a mix. It is there. Um, is it everything I want? I don't know. I'm very critical of what I want from these shark movies, between the CGI and between the deaths. So maybe a little bit more blood and whatever would have been nice. I don't know. The way they end the movie, I'm not gonna say too much because again, I keep that kind of spoiler free or whatever. But there is kind of an interesting ending to the way that they left the movie and left. Anybody who survived and left the area and left the sharks and so forth and kind of that. I thought that was an interesting way to go. Didn't kind of expect that. Maybe a little bit different than the usual shark movie we get and the ending that we get with that. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know, if they did that because they want something more, something different. Um, I don't know, and it's funny because as I'm watching this movie and certain times of it, and whatever, I don't know. I couldn't help but thinking of what 28 weeks later, or was it 28 days later? I don't. Maybe it was days later. Kind of where you see, or maybe it was weeks. It's been a long time. Where you kind of see, yeah, it was weeks later, where I could go back and forth, where you see, kind of the end of the movie, and then you kind of see the zombie raging people. I know some people don't think they're zombies, whatever. I'm not getting into that argument. But the raging people, the whatever, the infected, in that movie kind of come to Paris, and then you see the Eiffel Tower there, and at the end, I don't know why, maybe that's the last horror movie I saw with in Paris. I don't know, but for whatever reason, that movie, in the end of that movie, kept flashing at this in my head as I'm watching this. It had nothing to do with sharks and whatever, but just maybe the way this one ends and just the utter chaos of that other one. I don't know what the connection is there, but I just kept having that flash in my eye in my head for some reason. So yeah, but definitely an interesting ending there, and I don't know, but a little bit different than what we typically see. Um, what else? There was something else I was going to say a minute ago. Then I kind of got into the 28 weeks, and that kind of blew my mind there. But yeah. So yeah, I was going to say, overall, it was also good to see a movie, a shark movie, in a little bit of a different setting, in Paris, in a river. In a different situation, you usually see it in the ocean and so forth. We've seen them in some other interesting places, but uh, I did kind of like to see it in a different area. Again, like in the catacombs, that was, like I said, was a good scene, and that's not typically where you see a shark in that kind of confined space, and kind of the setup there with all the people. It was a good scene. So it was good to kind of place the shark in maybe a little bit different place here, for certain scenes. So that was good as well, and seeing it in Paris and not just down in the open ocean and so forth. So that kind of set up for a few little bit different things there as well. So overall, I'm probably, like I said, CGI was better than some of the other stuff that I've seen, more recently in the last year or two with the sharks, and it's very painful. And I think there's another shark movie out. I don't know if it came out already or out, and I know I have not seen it yet. So I know that I'm missing the name of it. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I'm pretty sure I'm missing at least one shark movie there. Um, but yeah, so I think I'm gonna give this one 2.5 pools of blood. Some good stuff, but not great. I think they held its own with the shark for the most part, but probably in the most important moment of the film, it kind of dropped the ball a little bit, which was a little disappointing. But I definitely think if you're into shark movies and so forth, this is definitely worth a watch. It definitely has some pools of blood like I like. So there's it's a good mix. You know, you're not it's not gonna be Jaws. It's not gonna be a super great shark film, but it's not gonna be the worst one you've probably seen lately. Hopefully not. I did kind of look here on IMDb, and yeah, it seems like people are kind of like me, kind of like in between. Like there's some good stuff there, but so yeah. But if you're looking for a shark movie, and it is, we're hitting summertime now. Stay out of the water. This is I know they're in a river here, but still stay out of the water. Just put on Jaws if you need a reminder. But yeah, so it's a good time to watch a shark movie here, um, as we're hitting the summer now. So that's 2.5 pools of blood, and that is out of 5 for this one. So horrorsquarereviews.blogspot.com is where you can find all of my reviews, written in video. Obviously, you have to go a little bit way back to get some of the written stuff, but lots of video stuff of late. So like, subscribe, do everything that everybody wants you to do. If not, no worries, it is okay. Just go swimming instead. And Twitter, Facebook, information down below as well. Reach out to me there. You want to talk horror, talk other shark movies, how bad shark CGI is in these movies. Please, I'm up for it. Let's go for it. And you can also do that in the comments section. Throw in your thoughts on this film and bad CGI sharks. What are your worst CGI sharks you've seen? Feel free to throw that in there. We could have a good time with that. Maybe I should do a top, but then I'd have to research that, and I just don't want to go down that road again. Ugh. Once I see enough the bad CGI sharks, that's it. I'm ready to move on. So with that, speaking of moving on, I will catch you on the next review, horror fans.